In an earlier video, I demonstrated how you can add multiple children from a census record that contains the month and year of birth of each person. In this video, I'm going to add children from the 1841 British Census, which, like most censuses, British, American, Canadian, or otherwise, only has the age in years of each person enumerated. I've added a husband and wife to my minimal database, John Brooke and his wife Anne. I've entered birth and death records for each of the partners, and a marriage record and a census record for the 1841 British Census. I added that to John, and that event to John, and I shared it with his wife Anne. We can look at that census record. You can see that it even contains the street on which they lived. We can look at the record itself, and there is the family: John, Brooke, Anne, Frederick, Susan, Julia, Thomas, Betsy, and William. Okay, if I click on place and then click on map, here's a description of Longfleet, which is a tithing within the borough of Poole. Tithing is a administrative subdivision of land that probably isn't used anymore in England or in this country. We look at the map and we can see there's Longfleet Road, and here is Poole, and here's Ringwood Road, where this Brooke family lived. So let's close that down and get to the business of adding the children to this family. I'll do that by switching over to the family view. Click on Add Children, and I'm going to add 1841. I'm going to enter the census year that's required for calculating birth years. So I'll add the first child, who was Frederick. Notice I don't have to enter the family name. It's generated automatically by the program. And his age at the time of the census was 13. And he was born, as far as we know, England. That's all we know. The next child, a female, Susan, was 11. The next child was also a female, Julia, who was 8. Next child was a male, Thomas, who was 6. And Betsy, who was 4. And William, who was less than a year old. So now I'd like to quickly discuss the 3 checkboxes here at the bottom of the form. This one, when checked, tells the program that the census record that was used for deriving this information is to be linked to each of the children. This checkbox says that a reference is to be generated for each of the birth events and a reference to the census. And this checkbox indicates that a document image file of the census page, in this case, is to be linked to each of the birth records that will be generated. Okay, now we are presented with a candidate census event from the father, which happens to be the one we want, the only census record that census event registered to John Rose Brooke. So it's already pre-selected. We click OK. Now we have to identify the source. It's an old source, in other words, a source that's already been entered into the database, the 1841 British Census. Click OK, and then we add the location information, which I'm copying from another window to save time. This indicates the certainty, which is secondary evidence. Primary evidence would be birth certificates, which we don't have. Click OK. OK again. Now we have to identify the document image. There's John Rose Brooke. See, here's Brooke, John Rose Brooke, and the 1841 census. There it is. OK, OK, and voila. There we have all the children entered into the family. Birth records have been created for each one of them, and census records for each one of them for the 1841 census. You might be wondering what these check marks are over here on the right. The check, if you move the cursor up to the question mark, you will find out what the check mark means. It means, if checked, the occurrence of this event has been verified or proven, which is an indication that we have provided a source for the information that we have given. Okay, so if we click on the census, we'll see all the members of the family, and that's because there's only one event entry for the census, and that is for the father. And all the other members of the family are linked to his entry. In other words, this is a shared event. So that's it.